There are journeys we choose, and then there are journeys that choose us. For centuries, seekers, saints, sages, and ordinary devotees have looked toward a sacred mountain rising from the Tibetan plateau, a mountain revered not merely as a peak of rock and ice, but as the very abode of Lord Shiva. To many, Mount Kailash is a destination. To those who have stood in its presence, it is an experience beyond language. When this pilgrimage first appeared before us, it seemed almost impossible. Age, altitude, weather, logistics, uncertainty, and the demands of everyday life all stood in the way. Yet, when Lord Shiva calls, obstacles slowly become pathways. And so, on the 25th of May 2026, our group of 11 yatris set out from Singapore, Australia, USA, and the UK on what would become one of the most profound journeys of our lives. We would travel through Nepal and Tibet. We would endure cold, wind, hail, snow, and thin air. We would face uncertainty, discomfort, and moments of doubt. But we would also experience kindness, devotion, faith, surrender, and grace. Most importantly, we would discover that a pilgrimage to Kailash is not measured by kilometers walked, passes crossed, or records achieved. It is measured by what changes within us. This is our story. Om Namah Shivaya. Journey begins with a few simple steps, and so did ours. Ours began with a flight from Singapore to Kathmandu after much preparation and looking into all details of what we did. We landed at the Tribhuvan International Terminal at the Kathmandu International Airport to be greeted by our Nepali tour operator. The immigration clearance was quite smooth because we had done the visas on arrival before we got there, and everything was smooth. But do be prepared to wait for your luggage because that does take time. We eagerly turned on our SIM cards that we had bought from Singapore, both Simba and Max, and I must say that didn't work out too well. But that's okay because we were sold in the warmth and hospitality of Marriott Kathmandu, where we could turn on our Wi-Fis and reconnect with our family members. It had been a long day of travel. We were ready to retire to bed. Day 2 and Day 3 in Kathmandu, the 26th and 27th of May 2026. We spent Day 2 really visiting temples across Kathmandu. We visited the divine Pashupatinath temple. We made Rudraksh and Spatik purchases. We made a visit to the Gweshwari Shakti Peeth, and then the Buddha Nilakantha temple, as well as the Swayambhu Mahachaitya temple. These were really tours on foot, so be prepared with your sunnies, your sun hats, your masks if you may, because it can get a little dusty in Kathmandu. We really spent the day trying to get to know each other better and build some team camaraderie amongst the international yatris who were in our troop as well. On May 27th, it was an extended stay in Kathmandu as the Nepali tour operator crew awaited their Tibetan visa, which was really expected the following day on the 28th of May. So it was a day of rest and recuperation, a day that was free and easy for us to roam around and soak in the vibes of this beautiful city of Kathmandu, eat some Nepali food, and just bask in the warmth and hospitality of simple Nepali folk all around us. day 2 and day 3 in Kathmandu. One day was planned, day 2, and day 3 was an extended bonus due to some visa delays for our Nepali tour operator and the crew in tow. Nonetheless, we decided to spend this very fruitfully amongst ourselves, as well as soaking in the vibes of beautiful Kathmandu. And that brought us to the end of day 2 and day 3, and we were all set to begin our long road trips on day 4. Alas, here we are on day 4, the 28th of May 2026, and we are all set to start our road trip from Kathmandu to Danche, an unplanned stop really on the way to the border town at Tibet. So we set off on a 99-kilometer trip, which they said would be around 4 to 5 hours with a lunch and bio break. To be honest, be ready for really bumpy rides for some distance, winding climbs, but nonetheless, beautiful valley views. The roads, I must say, are a mixed bag, highly bumpy at certain parts, highly picturesque along the latter end, with the Trishuli River flowing and a beautiful valley view. Loads of checkpoints for drivers to get off and clear vehicle permits. This was really an unplanned stop for us, as our tour operator had to check us into a really suboptimal guest house. Veg food was available, though the kitchen cooked both veg and non-vegetarian, and a smell pervaded across the dining room, so I must say food consumption was a little bit of a challenge. Other than the need to have to climb staircases to our petite rooms on the 3rd and 4th floor. Gosh, this was a highly basic hotel kyang. I would call it a guest house at best. Nonetheless, the staff was simply amazing folks. Very simple, very sincere, serving from their hearts. The main takeaway from this is one has really got to be highly flexible as a traveler and not a stickler for details and or adherence to schedules, for instance. Be ready for all sorts of unplanned events. Another keynote to share: be prepared on all these road trips to use natural toilets. So carry along your toilet rolls, your wipes, your hand sanitizers, because landslides are a frequent occurrence. So be ready to wait in long lines. During these periods, if nature calls, the men shall always manage. For the ladies, do carry huge canvas sheets, blankets, or shades to create enclosures for other ladies and for yourselves. It is just inevitable. Day 5, the 29th of May 2026. Our road trip from Danche towards Gate Kola, setting out at 5 a.m. This was where we were really meant to stay the previous night instead of Danche, due to the proximity to the Tibetan border to Kirong, which is at a height of about 2,800 meters. Again, not the hotel that was sent in our itinerary due to changes and cancellations. Hotel in Kirong was Pilgrim Inn, a pretty decent and clean double-bedded room. Toilets were pretty neat. Our tour operator had a cooking crew in tow, and they made some amazing food for us and served the group of 11 of us in a private dining area. The food was simple, cooked from their hearts, and served with all their love and devotion. The clearance at the Kirong border was really smooth. Yes, one has to be patient due to language challenges. It is strictly Mandarin only. Some of us had to iteratively fill in the on arrival immigration forms and obtain our QRs. Just be patient and go along. We all managed to finish at the end of the day with the help of the Tibetan guide along with us. So just go along. Nothing was arduous. Yes, they may randomly check your belongings, so make sure everything is in adherence, and voluntarily let them check your baggage, your mobile phones as need be. But it's totally random, and it wasn't a thorough 100% check. But be ready. We arrived in Kirung quite tired that night. We didn't have much of a chance to look around this pretty town of Kirung, but more about that later. Pretty decent hotel, Pilgrim, in Kirung. It was raining in Kirung. We only had a few hours the next morning before we set off to Saga. So we decided to spend a little time walking around this pretty town of Kirung, where actually you can buy a lot of things needed on your trek, like your hiking poles, your jerry cans, your masks, whatever. But honestly, we didn't have the time, so we decided just to soak in the vibes of Kirung and enjoy a little bit of the altitude as we could, as well as build some team camaraderie during this time. It was a little wet, the weather, but nonetheless we had our share of fun. We met a sweet little Tibetan child. We created some little conversations with her and managed to take some pictures with and of her during this little time we had. And it was truly a quaint little Kirung town that is worth spending more time. Hopefully you get a chance to spend a little more than we did in this little pretty place, and just soak in the vibes of Tibet as we set foot on a major journey ahead. We had a really fun time getting to know the people who were coming along with us as yatris on this beautiful yatra. So here's Kirung for you, a few shots of them, slightly wet the day we were there. Nonetheless, all good. Day 6, the 30th of May, our Saturday road trip from Kirung to Saga, a distance of about 170 to 200 kilometers. This was another super long day on the road with multiple vehicle permit checkpoints. This is also a key checkpoint day for each of us 11 yatris to test the adjustments our respective bodies is able to make to the cold weather and altitude, importantly. Ascent is significant as we are moving from 2,700 meters in Kirung to 4,600 meters all in a day. Arriving in Saga, one will feel definitely heavier breathing wise, even if one has taken Dimox. Taking a few steps, tying your shoelaces, bending over to take your bags, all need to be done slowly and with a lot of body and breath awareness. It's good that most of the hotels in Saga had oxygen piped into the rooms. If need be, you can get personalized tubes to pipe them into your nostrils. But again, be forewarned that don't get over-reliant on oxygen at this stage. Your body is slowly starting to adjust, so be aware of that. We bought our jerry cans at Saga to collect water from Lake Mansarovar the next day. To be honest, there are lots of shopping options here. Language is definitely Mandarin, so have your translation apps ready. And here we are, day 7, 31st May 2026. Road trip from Saga to Maanasarovar, pretty long 500-kilometer ride. Takes a good 9 to 10 hours. Long road trip, well worth it once you see the holy lake Mansarovar and the very first sighting of the south face of Mount Kailash. A parikrama around the beautiful lake on an eco-bus is blissful. Stopping at points along this bus ride to dip our feet, touch the holy waters, dip our precious rudraksh, spatik, and other purchases to cleanse them before giving them to near and dear, or wear them ourselves, is such a precious and inexplicable feeling. Also adding drops of this holy teeth to our personal name flags, strands of hair we may have brought of our near and dear, as a precursor to offering them at the divine Mount Kailash is such a blessed sentiment I can't even express in ordinary words. We then drove to Rakshasthal, and one can't help notice the stark difference between the two lakes, as we know. That day, the Chinese authorities issued an advisory to manage the huge crowds flocking into Kailash Mansarovar. Indian passport holders could stay in Maanasarovar, and all others had to darshan for the night. So after the Maanasarovar parikrama, we then drove to Darshan, distance of about 40 kilometers, taking 45 minutes to 1 hour, and checked into a hotel there. This was definitely a draining day of travel and change. We were advised that as tourists, we could not wander freely while in Darshan. At all times, we should be with our Tibetan guide, even to buy a loaf of bread, for instance. The Nepali cook crew set up their little kitchen area a few doors away from our hotel entrance, and we had a lovely meal, and we were off to doze that night. There are moments where words become unnecessary, and standing before Mount Kailash is certainly one of them. The mountain does not test how strong we are. It teaches us how deeply we can surrender. The most powerful emotional arc is not the travel. It is the realization that a successful Kailash Yatra is not necessarily completing the Kora, but receiving whatever darshan and blessings Lord Shiva intended for us. It is most meaningful to focus from achievement to gratitude, from completing a route to receiving a blessing. What does a successful Kailash Yatra really mean? Many pilgrims measure the success of a Kailash Yatra by a single question: did you complete the Kora? Yet, standing before the sacred mountain, we began to understand that perhaps Lord Shiva measures it differently. Long before we set foot on the parikrama path, blessings had already begun to unfold. We were simply blessed to receive the call to Kailash, blessed to leave our homes and loved ones behind and embark on a journey that millions only dream about, blessed to reach the sacred waters of Lake Maanasarovar, blessed to touch these holy waters with our own hands, blessed to immerse our Rudraksha beads, spatiks, and sacred items in the lake, carrying its purity back to our families and friends. Blessed to cleanse ourselves in the presence of one of the world's most revered spiritual lakes. Blessed to bring the names of our loved ones on prayer flags, carrying them with us across mountains and valleys. Blessed to sprinkle the sacred waters of Maanasarovar upon those flags before offering them at the feet of Kailash. Blessed to carry strands of hair and photographs of our parents, children, siblings, relatives, and friends, symbolically bringing them into the divine presence of Lord Shiva. Blessed to stand at Yamdwar, the gate of liberation, remembering those we love and praying for their health, happiness, and spiritual well-being. Blessed to catch our first glimpse of Mount Kailash rising majestically against the vast Tibetan sky. Blessed to witness the south, west, and north faces of the sacred mountain. Blessed to breathe the rarefied air of a realm that countless seekers have yearned to experience. Blessed to share this journey with fellow yatris who became family along the way. Blessed to experience kindness from guides, drivers, cooks, and strangers whose service sustained us throughout our difficult days. Blessed to be protected through landslides, harsh weather, snowstorms, and many uncertainties of mountain travel. Blessed to return safely to our families, carrying memories that will remain with us for the rest of our lives. Perhaps a successful Kailash Yatra is not measured by how many kilometers we walk. Perhaps it is measured by how much gratitude we carry. For every step granted is a blessing. Every darshan is a blessing. Every prayer offered is a blessing. Every loved one remembered is a blessing. And every moment spent in the presence of Kailash itself, a gift beyond measure. Har Har Mahadev. Om Namah Shivaya. Days 10 to 13. The journey home. Gratitude, grace, and completion. After the intensity, uncertainty, and emotions of our time at Kailash, it was finally time to begin our journey home. The long drive from darshan back to Saga gave each of us precious hours to reflect on what had just unfolded. The vast Tibetan plateau stretched endlessly before us, while our minds replayed the events of the previous days. Some of us reflected upon our first sighting of the sacred mountain. Others remembered the stillness of Lake Maanasarovar. Many reflected upon the lessons of surrender that Kailash had gently but firmly taught us. Though we had returned earlier than anticipated, there was no sense of disappointment. Instead, there was a deep feeling of peace and acceptance. We had come as far as the mountain had permitted. We had received the darshan that Lord Shiva had chosen to grant us, and that was enough. The following day brought another long and challenging journey from Saga back towards Kathmandu. The border crossing, immigration formalities, vehicle changes, and rough mountain roads reminded us that once again that a Kailash Yatra demands patience until the very last mile. As we descended from the high Tibetan plateau and gradually returned to lower altitudes, breathing became easier. Yet, a part of us remained behind amidst the winds, silence, and majesty of Kailash. Back in Kathmandu, our pilgrimage found a beautiful and meaningful conclusion. We visited Paramananda Ashram, spending time with the children, contributing through seva and offering our support towards the noble work being carried out there. After a journey centered on receiving blessings, it felt only right to give back in whatever small way we could. That evening, we gathered at the sacred Pashupatinath temple for the divine Aarti. As the lamps danced against the twilight sky and sacred chants echoed along the banks of Bagmati River, our hearts overflowed with gratitude. Gratitude for protection, gratitude for companionship, gratitude for every challenge that had strengthened us, gratitude for every blessing that had carried us forward. Above all, gratitude for returning safely to our families and loved ones. Many of us had arrived at Kailash carrying personal prayers deep within our hearts. Some sought answers, some sought healing, some sought reassurance. And in ways that only Kailash can, the mountain responded. For me, two of the most personal blessings was receiving signs that brought comfort and peace regarding my pet, Theo, who passed 4.5 months back after 15.5 years with our family. Amidst the vastness of the sacred landscape and the countless moments of prayer and reflection, there was a quiet assurance that Theo was being watched over, cared for, and held in divine protection. Another was being able to bring back holy Maanasarovar water for my beloved uncle's final earthly journey to his next life. Such experiences cannot be explained. They can only be felt. Perhaps that is the true gift of Kailash. Not grand miracles visible to the world, but deeply personal blessings that speak directly to our hearts and souls. As we stood before Lord Pashupatinath one final time, we offered our thanks to Shiva, to Lake Mansarovar, to the sacred mountain, to our fellow yatris, and to the countless seen and unseen forces that guided, protected, and blessed us throughout this extraordinary journey. The pilgrimage was coming to an end, but its lessons, memories, and blessings would remain with us forever. Om Namah Shivaya. Har Har Mahadev.
I will make a video and